Good morning, everybody. It's Monday. Happy Monday after a beautiful weekend. Well, somebody had a beautiful weekend. It was rainy and cold. Well, not cold. It was in the 50s. And, you know, when you're wanting to be in the 70s and it's only in the 50s, that's cold, right? Got up and it was 45 degrees. I'm like, damn it. It's supposed to be spring. It's April. Come on. Warm up. But, you know, we live in Minnesota, so I can get used to that. Anyway, how you doing? Who had a great weekend? Anybody have a really, really good weekend? Share it in the chat. There's, if you were there, if you had a nice weekend. And as you can see, I've got new standby footage. And my new outro was last week. And I might even change the intro here soon. It's about time I change the intro. My facial hair is different. My look's different. My backgrounds are different. I'm not in the dining room anymore. I think it's about time to change the intro. What do you think? Maybe I'll do something cool and modern or something. But anyway, today I saw something on Twitter, as I tend to do on the weekends. I saw something that made me go, what? Yeah, just exactly like that. I read the line and I'm like, what? And of course, it's our ever-loving, most competent and perfect doctor on the planet, who it was about. And I got to thinking, are there any other doctors in America? Because I know that there's people out there that have medical degrees and expertise in treating patients and things like that aren't being listened to. And I just can't figure it out. And then I saw a thread about a doctor who was testifying before the Texas Senate. And apparently he's been in front of the United States Senate a couple times too. And he kind of laid it out how they're not listening to doctors. They're listening to people in that, what's that called? The task force for the stupid 19. I'm not going to call it what it is because less likely to get, you know how that works here on YouTube. So anyway, so the stupid night, and somebody, who is that? Is that the Hoteps who say that, or HP? Somebody calls it the stupid 19. I'm going to call it that because it's stupid, and we've acted stupidly. We haven't actually, haven't. I'm going to blame everybody on this. The stupid 19 task force, the former president, although there are times the former president talked about ideas and things, and because it was the guy with the funny hair, half the country and all the media pushed back immediately anytime he said anything. But he was right on some of these things, and nobody wanted to hear it. So anyway, that's kind of what the show about today. Also, obviously, in my neck of the woods, we have another event that's going to cause, well, it's already causing problems in the northern suburbs of my metropolis, and we'll talk briefly about that and a few other things I touched on from the weekend. But before we do that, I need to play the intro. So here you go. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, Dawg Knight. The music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. Welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. It is Monday, the 12th of April 2021. This is the 571st episode of the Morning Night Live. And I'm so glad that so many of you are here already, bright and early, early to the show, because some of you are up late, some of you are in the middle of your day, some of you are even in the super wee hours of the morning tomorrow. But wherever you are, whatever you do, I greatly appreciate you dropping in. And I do want to talk about Stupid 19 and just why aren't we listening to doctors who actually practice medicine? Because the most famous, perfect, smartest doctor on the planet hasn't practiced medicine for over 30 years. So I just got to wonder why we're not listening to the practice physicians, why we're not talking about treatment for Stupid 19, and why, well, a lot of questions that came up by this doctor that testified. So we'll talk. I'm going to have a couple links in the links below at the end of the show. Oh, I got to change that real quick. Yeah, because those links aren't the correct links. Let me fix this. After the show, I'll have all the links for everything we go over today, including a video and just an audio of a couple different doctors talking about some of the things we've done wrong with the Stupid 19, and how some of the things are just more detrimental, especially the thing with kids and going to school. That's the one that still boggles my mind. That the teachers unions are fighting taking kids back into school. But anyway, let's say good morning to everybody, and then I'll get into it. Okay. So first in the chat today was Justin Anderson. Now he was there really early. And I'm not sure if he's back yet, but let's see. Good morning. I know this will be erased by 5:30. I accidentally pushed the button. Now came to chat during another video I was watching, getting ready for work. So here I am at 4:30 a.m. Pacific time. So he was here 2.5 hours ago, but I'll give you a bell, even though you hit it accidentally. Actually, the first person in the chat today was Select a Boy. Yeah, boy. And so I'm going to give you a bell too. This is the normal chat. And also good morning to Gunfox61, who starts his new job on May 5th. Congratulations. Also congratulations to who else just got a new job. Select a Boy actually got a new job and has orientation today. So congratulations. I know you'll watch the replay. And Gunfox, you were the first one here who's still here, so I'm going to give you a bell too. Anyway, good morning also. Good morning, Jonas Pedersen. Hello, always lost and nothing else, also known as Alone. That's the acronym. I don't know if you meant to do that, but that's what your acronym is. Also, good morning to Maddie and Ronan, who are probably out on the road somewhere, or at least getting ready to be on the road, because that's what they do. Good morning, Mystic Forest. How you doing? And welcome back. Good morning, Reese Donald. Hello, Jesse Leon. Hello, Renee Mayette. Also, good morning, James PFP, Simic Magic, Somnambule Nation, Attack Alpaca. I don't know if I said that right. My friend from down under, Rich, is in the house. Avocados Diabli, the Devil's Advocate, is here. Also, good morning, Zach Osborne. Charlie A. Hey, P-Dog, did you see the dress that Kid Cudi wore on SNL? It didn't bother me, but I'm sure it did many right-wingers. Well, here's the thing. Okay, I just can't figure out why it's always the black man they're putting in dresses, but here's what Kid Cudi was doing. Kid Cudi was paying tribute to someone that he admired greatly, Kurt Cobain. And so I don't know if it wasn't necessarily a tribute, or it wasn't necessarily a call out to trans people. I know a lot of right wingers are having words about that today. And you know what? Right now, musicians need to attract attention. You got Lil Nas X with his little Satan worshiping video, which I couldn't give a shit about personally. And same with Kid Cudi, however the hell you say his name, don't care. It draws attention to Kid Cudi if that's a marketing thing, and you know what? Been there, done that. Alice Cooper, Little Richard, Liberace, Madonna, what's it called? Guar, Kiss, Who else? Yeah, Lady Gaga. There's all kinds of artists, especially musicians, who've done unusual things to draw attention to themselves. And so, poof, here comes Kid Cudi wearing a dress on Saturday Night Live. Ooh, I bet he gets lots of corporate deals and movie things and all kinds of stuff because, oh my gosh, he's so trans friendly. He was paying tribute to Kurt Cobain, and I don't care either way. It's a marketing ploy. Congratulations on your grift, Kid Cudi. All right, moving on. Good morning, all. By the way, good morning, Charlie. How you doing? I'm glad you're here. Welcome. Who else is here? HP Lovecraft is in the house. Sam is here. Also, let's see, who am I missing? Thomas Cleaver. Bedtime for me, saying hi to the dog and all you fine people. Well, thank you, Thomas Cleaver. I hope my soothing voice helps you get a nice deep sleep tonight. Because sometimes. Sometimes I have the feeling. Is that Kid Cudi? What was Kid Cudi's thing? Was that not good feeling? Never before. No, I'll get the feeling. No, that was somebody else. Anyway, who else is here? Good morning, Attack-a-Pack. Annalyn Zablet is in the house. Good morning, Amy in Connecticut. Good morning, Tyler F. And I've got just about everybody there. I'm at the bottom of the list, so there you go. So anyway, TC is in the house. Ebony Williams, Woodcutter. It jumped, and I missed a few people. Tarai Deos, hello. Green Badger Outdoors. Lunatics in the house. Did I say TC? Dr. Keeve, hello, my dear. I think I got everybody now. Is that about right? I'm kind of thinking I got everybody. At least everybody so far that's here. Anyway, if you are here and you haven't been here before, or if you haven't bothered to subscribe, I don't know how you got the notification, but you're here. Click the subscribe button. Click the bell. Also, click the like button. 36 people and 11 likes. I know you've liked what you've seen so far. You gotta like me so far. Hit the like button. All right. I don't have the slightest clue who the hell Kid Cudi is. Why would I care what they wear? Yeah, he's just a musician, DJ. I don't know if he's a DJ. He's a musician, singer, producer, and I can't remember. You know what? When my son was in high school, I arranged all the music for the basketball games, and I got suggestions from the boys on the basketball team for what music we should play. And then I also had just a lot of jock rock things that we played during timeouts, halftime, before the game, after the game. And there was a track by Kid Cudi, and I can't remember what it is. He is only famous for one track that I know of, and but he is definitely a fairly prolific producer. But anyway, so he came out on Saturday Night Live on a dress, and it's literally, guess what? Okay, black man comes on Saturday Night Live wearing a dress. Guess who people are talking about this weekend? Oh, Kid Cudi, whatever his name is. No, not Cudi Sark. He's not a bottle of scotch. He's not even Scottish. If it ain't Scottish, it's crap. Anyway, good morning, Black Hebrew Israelites.
That's right.
How you doing? Also, MC's in the house.
Stop. Hammer time.
All right. All my sound effect peeps are in the house. So there you go. Cairo Alexander, where you been, my brother? I haven't seen you in the longest time. Have you been hiding or just lurking or something? I'm nice to see you. Literal minstrel artist. Wow. Damn. That's a little harsh there. Anyway. And John Arnott's in the house. All right, and Spambot 22. There you go. What the fuck is even SNL? True. Justin Anderson, nice to see you back. All right. Let me see if I can get into this. So, when I opened my Twitter over the weekend, by the way, a couple thank yous. Thank you, Willett Forge, Zach Osborne, Renee Mayette, Angel Tibbs, and Maddie Walker, Beck Fairley, for all tweeting out the show. Please share the stream. Hit the little share arrow down there. Send it out on your favorite social media. Or you can follow me on at most social media at Dawg Knight and send it out on one of those places. CloudHub, Parler, Twitter, Gab, Minds, Reddit. What else am I on as Dawg Knight? I'm on everything as Dawg Knight. I forgot about Reddit. I never talk about Reddit that much. I don't have a subreddit for the Dawg Knight channel. I have a Discord server instead. But anyway, been here. Don't want to be too negative, so I shut up. Oh, be negative as negative you want. I don't care. Unless you just want to not have that in your heart and your system. I understand. I kind of understand. It's why my wife doesn't watch the news. All right, let's talk about what I ran into over the weekend on that hellhole known as Twitter. And this was the start of my weekend. Actually, this happened. This was on Friday after the show, and I must have got off work about 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and I turned to Twitter, my favorite love-hate relationship, and here I get, what would Fauci do? Wait a minute. You know my theme. What would Fauci do? Anthony Fauci told Insider how his behavior hasn't changed since getting the stupid 19 stab. Stupid 19 stab he got, and he said here and in Business Insider, big old article. Hello, Michael Hatfield, big old article. What would Dr. Fauci do? Now it's not necessarily sacrilegious, because what would Jesus do isn't really a thing. It's not like something in the Bible, but that's what they're kind of playing off of, right? As in Dr. Fauci. Oh, Dr. Fauci. What the director of National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases will and won't do now that he's got the stab, the stupid 19 stab. When Dr. Fauci and his wife did, oh, wait a minute. Oh, here's the beginning. Okay. When Dr. Fauci and his wife did gather with their neighbors pre-stab, I'm going to call it stab, pre-stab, the household stayed socially distanced and outdoors, even in the fall and the winter when the weather got chilly. Dr. Fauci got his first stab on December 22nd. After being fully stabbed, Fauci said he's changed his behavior, but only slightly. Biggest shift is that he and his neighbors have finally moved the party indoors. Well, good for him. But Dr. Fauci doesn't see being stabbed as a green light to resume a myriad of activities he and the rest of us have been deprived of. Wait, what? Excuse me. I distinctly remember Dr. Fauci throwing a baseball to halfway between first and second base and then sitting in the stands and kind of taking his mask off when he took a sip of his water, but then he picked up his phone and started fiddling with his phone, and then he was talking with the people next to him, and then the woman next to him took the mask off, and they're just enjoying a baseball game that no one else could go to. I'm curious what it is that he's been deprived. And also, many times you ever watch a press conference with Dr. Fauci, if they accidentally leave the cameras on when he's wearing a mask and pouring them, then he immediately takes it off when the thing's over, when thinking that the cameras are off. But anyway, Fauci would go on a cruise. No, movie theaters where viewers remove their masks to snack on popcorn, it's a no for Fauci. That would still be of concern to me, he said. Well, what good is the damn vaccine? I'm going to use... Oh, I said the word. Damn it. What good is the stab if you can't go anywhere? Bars and restaurants where maskless people are eating and drinking inside? Fauci said those are still off the table, too. What about travel? Even though the CDC.gov says that vaccinated Americans can stabbed Americans. Hello, Jade Emerald. Stabbed Americans can travel domestically. Fauci won't be planning any trips except for the ones that he takes constantly as the director of the National Institute of Health. I don't see that in my life, he said. When this is all over, then I'll worry about that. Oh, well, you just stay at home, sir. I'd prefer you stay at home anyway. By the way, remember. Okay, so, and then for now, Fauci is maintaining most of his pre-stab behavior. Caution stems from the crossroads at which U.S. sits, despite record vaccinations. Record stabs. Still, the number of new coofs is rising in 18 states. Well, yeah, kind of. Kind of. In 18 states. But it's funny which states those happen to be. And also, the hospitalization rate doesn't seem to be going up, nor does the death rate. They like to talk about infections. But it doesn't seem, well, okay, so anyway, I don't want to, I'm very cautious about giving what they call on YouTube, I'll say medical, and then I'm going to say the other word after the rest of this sentence, disinformation. Because they like to yeet people a lot. So when I saw this, and I wrote a thread, but I'm not going to put it on the screen, but I'm gonna go through it because several things jumped out at me when I read that article. Now, there's much more to the article. It's much more detailed. They give a synopsis on Twitter, right? Hello, check your logic. But the variants, yeah, the variants too. That's the other thing that we're supposed to worry about. We're supposed to be scared, and we are not sufficiently scared, and so they are, they're not. Anyway, let me give you what my thoughts were when I read this article and this thread on Twitter. So first of all, Dr. Fauci, the smartest and most capable doctor and scientist on the entire planet, of the world, and in the universe, is in his 80s. Okay, so what Dr. Fauci would do probably should be a little bit different, right? I mean, he's in his 80s, right? He's in the highest risk category for the stupid 19 based on data. And because he's had to change his tunes so many times on different aspects of what we should be doing, he has not only a reason to, but also the luxury to be among the most cautious with what he does. Oh, wait a minute, check that. With what he says he does. Now, I'm going to give you just a couple examples because what he does versus what he says he does. Now, it's funny because when this picture came out, there were so many people said, well, can't you see that he has a bottle of water? He had just finished drinking. He probably put his mask on right away. Really? After you take a drink and you put the cap back on the bottle and you stuff the bottle down between your legs, don't you have time to put on the mask before you do this? Oh, but wait a minute. And then before you start looking at your flat screen phone and talking to the guy next to you, also notice the lady next to him in the first picture. She's not wearing a mask. What's she doing? What's she drinking? What's she eating? Does she know Dr. Fauci? The smartest, most capable person on the planet. Yes, now what? Good morning, Donatello Slapfellow, my favorite name on the internet. Yes, now what? Fauci is the highest paid public servant in the U.S., so he has the luxury. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even have this on the screen, did I? See, she didn't even have a mask on. This lady right here, that person. My cursor isn't showing up anymore. And then he had time to he got his phone out and she's on her phone and he's talking here with the mask off. He is putting this man in danger right now, according to everyone that complains about people who don't wear masks. Anyway, so then I was thinking, for most of us who have either had the disease and survived, this guy, I'm among that recorded 98.5% in the U.S. Now, wait a minute. I'll tell you a little bit of when I say 98.5%, I got a caveat, but I'm going to save it to the end. And or those who've been fully vaccinated, perhaps we should listen to our own, or perhaps we should listen to our own doctor's advice about what a person in our age range and level of health should be able to do safely, right? The data, and see, I'm saying the data because I don't want to use the word science because y'all have stripped the word science of any meaning whatsoever. It's just a tool to tell people to shut up. The data tells us who is at most risk of perishing from the stupid 19, and that would be the old, which includes Dr. Fauci, who's in his 80s, and the obese, and some others, people with other comorbidities, right? And who is at the least risk of perishing from this disease? That would be people who've already survived the disease. This guy. Those who have been vaccinated, in theory, if the vaccines actually work, because they seem that they keep giving me the idea that the vaccines don't work, even though I know, the stab. I know the stab works for most people, although they've had problems with the Johnson & Johnson one, and they're still testing. Remember, this is not an FDA approved stabs. None of these stabs are approved by the FDA yet. They are authorized for emergency use, but none of them have gone through the full FDA approval process, which makes me wonder why you would require them for anything. We're going to talk about them required for shit. Anyway, so the data tells us who is at most risk of perishing. Oh, and the least at risk are survivors, those are vaccinated, and people under 25 especially, right? So, those who are at least risk, even in the rare cases they get the disease, are likely to have less severe symptoms, most likely to recover, and least likely to spread the disease based on the data. Oh, a lot of people like to talk about science. No, the data, those are the least likely. In fact, the people under 25, I don't want to give medical misinformation, but the CDC tells me, and the data tells me, it's least likely to die. In fact, are more likely to die from the flu. Shh, don't want to say that too fast. Now, that is what the CDC and the WHO both will tell you, but feel free to look it up for yourself. Kills black people in their 50s. It kills other people in their 50s. Yes. Well, and here's my thing too, Cairo, and I feel you there. It is a biggie, and I got a feeling that they say that there's more people in. Of course, 80% of the people who are dying from it are obese, have comorbidities, and there are so many health issues in black communities that I'm not surprised that it kills black people in their 50s. It kills, but that only just black people. But yes, and also, those what were those things? They said that those Trump rallies, those were super spreader events, and I'm just curious because remember those? There's those events all summer long last year. In fact, there was an event yesterday in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, that they said, well, the gathering here are going to a sporting event. This isn't a super spread event, but these events with thousands of people over hundreds of days and march the streets and whatnot, they didn't spread any. Well, then how is it that the incidents of the stupid 19 are affecting communities of color more. How did that happen? I mean, how could they even get it if those events didn't? They can't trace any of it. Although they say that Fergus, or what is it? Fergus? Not Fergus. Fergus. Sturgis. Remember Sturgis? They had 250,000 people there, and they said, oh, this is going to create hell over the super spreader event all over the country. And then they only can document 79 cases of COVID of people who were at Sturgis. But the super spreader events all summer. I mean, sorry, the peaceful protest. And I'm not, hey, I'm all for peaceful protests, but the protests all summer long. Nope. They didn't, there's no way that those spread the stupid 19. Anyway, so here's the thing. We need to focus on getting high risk people vaccinated first, and maybe at all, and stop whining about the people who say they don't want to get the vaccines. I'll have a note about that in a minute. Stick with the people who do want to get vaccinated, and especially those who absolutely should. People who are in the high-risk categories, not just here, but around the world. Because if we want this to end, we have to stop people getting sick from it, right? And the people who are most likely to get sick and die and have problems are the elderly and the comorbidities and the obese and whatnot. And because the idea that we're considering vaccinating children in the United States before we figure out how to get higher risk people around the world seems, this is just me speaking out loud, seems awfully misguided. I'm sorry. It doesn't make any sense. It is an empirical fact that this disease is less deadly for children than most strains of the flu. That is data driven. That's from data, right? Don't believe me? Look it up. Stop listening to alarmist politicians and the moron talking heads on your big and little flat screens. Talking about science they know nothing about. And start listening to doctors and researchers who are basing their recommendations on data. I don't want to listen to people who only care about power or bask in the glow of their limitedly deserved public image. Is that you, Dr. Fauci? Tyranny in the name of public health? Is it what's best for the country or the world right now? Yeah. That's about as globalist as I get. Fear is not your friend. Data is. Resist Faucism. Oh, by the way, when I was talking about what did I say earlier? This is in the thread. My first asterisk was for most of those who either had the disease or survived. I said it was 98.5% in the U.S., that have survived. Well, here's the thing. That only includes the people who have been tested and not those who have had the disease but were completely asymptomatic or had very mild symptoms who didn't bother getting tested, probably didn't even know they had it. Because we're finding in studies from Iceland and from several countries have had studies that when they go and do antibody tests, there's about 50% more people that they're finding have the antibodies for this than they have recorded having had the disease. So the disease has probably spread much farther than we don't even know. Also, as far as the part about people who don't want to get vaccinated, we need to stop this BS that a lot of people do. Oh, they're not going to get vaccinated. You're a COVIDiot. You're an anti-vaxxer. No. People who don't want to get vaccinated are willing to take the risk, and that is their prerogative. If the vaccines work, which we are being told they do, those who do get them, combined with the people who have had the antibodies, which seems from studies there have been far more than have been recorded that have had the disease, it will help us get to that magical herd immunity. If those not getting the vaccine ended up getting COVID, they still have between a 98.5 and 99.7% of surviving, depending on which study you read. And that, my friends, is science. She blinded me with science. Do, do, do. She blinded me with science. Anyway, all right. So, let me go into, I got more about, we're going to keep talking about Stupid 19, and I have a couple things I want to show you. Thank you, Tyler F. and Mitch the Ripper for, let's see. Oh, no, Mitch didn't do it. He just liked it. Yeah, that's Maddie's tweet. I'm going to try to get to that, Maddie. That's a really poignant tweet. Thanks everyone who's sharing the show. I really, really, really appreciate it. And if you're sharing it on other platforms, fantastic. If it's on, I just don't see the notifications here because I don't have any of those open. But anyone who's sharing it on other platforms, thank you for that too, because I don't really do that. All right, so more on this. I'm gonna show you briefly just the. Let's see. Here's one of the question about why we're not listening to doctors, because there have been a lot of groups of doctors all over the country who have been trying to tell us different ways to treat patients who've had the stupid 19, right? And all during this this pandemic, they've been being shot down, had their testimony being removed from YouTube, having been called quacks and blah blah blah, and a lot of people are trying a lot of different experimental things or off label treatments that remember when, for example, when Donald Trump was talking about chloroquine and hydroxychloroquine. Remember that? And boy, that was politicized to death, because if Trump said it at the time, then everyone's going to criticize him. They criticize everything Trump said. When Trump said that the death rate of people who get it to case rate to death rate, at the time was so, they were thinking it was about 3%, and Trump said it's probably going to be less than 1% or much lower than that. And everyone was like, well, he's not a scientist, yada yada. And then it turns out that is the case. There's been all kinds of things that if Trump said it, it's absolutely, you have to defy that. You have to resist, right? Resist. And so a lot of things that he said, and remember, Trump is talking to the task force. He put the task force together. Remember, Dr. Fauci has been part of the task force since January 17th, 2020. He was one of the original people on the task force, and he's been the lead voice, and now he's lead talking head, and boy, he's a celebrity now from day one. And yet, how is it that he goes unscathed? All the advice that the former president with the funny hair said came from Dr. Fauci and all those other people sitting at that table. Dr. Fauci is the one who said on March 6th, well, we probably aren't going to have to change any behaviors. Oh, and 10 days later, 15 days to slow the spread. Dr. Fauci, I wouldn't go on a cruise, but, if, people want to go on a cruise, if they're young and yada, 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 they could probably be okay if they went on a cruise. 15 days to slow the spread, 12 days later. Because there was bitching about Trump saying, well, we think, we got it handled, and hopefully it'll just go away. Well, where do you think he got that idea from? That didn't just come from him. That's coming from the fact that Dr. Fauci, 2 days after that, was saying we probably aren't going to have to change any behaviors. A year later, here we are, double mask and social distancing, and don't open restaurants and bars and this and that, and don't go to movie theaters and yada, yada, yada. Even this going outside, where you're in like we were in Breckenridge, the city of Breckenridge, just able to keep open. And look, people cooperated because they wanted to, didn't want the wrath of the federal government coming down on them or the state coming down on them. So they wanted people to wear masks when they're walking through downtown, which is stupid. no one's getting it outside. Okay. Okay. Caveat for YouTube only. Yes, it's possible some people got it while they were outside. However, we also know that sunlight is a great enemy to this particular virus. Let me stop for a second. Thank you, Maddie, for sponsoring the show. First sponsor of the show of the day with a link on the board from Streamlabs. And Maddie,
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day.
thank you so much. Maddie says, there are those like me who see what my mom is going through with her asthma being triggered, fever, sweats, and chills, and is still on the fence about it. I'm assuming you mean the Fauci stab. Or Fauci, I got my metaphors mixed up. Fauci juice or the stupid 19 stab. Is still on the fence about it. I have bronchitis, and I am nervous. You're gonna have to talk with your doctors. The thing that's been left out of this is the doctors. No one's telling the doctors how to treat it. So I hear this guy, Dr. Phillip. Dr. The hell's his name again? Dr. Phillip Mccullough. Testifying before the Texas Senate, and I'm only gonna go through a couple of these, and I do have a link to the entire video of this testimony, but this is just a link that was on Twitter. Hello, Gamer Vleen. How are you? And Amy in Connecticut. Hello. So this is Dr. Phillip Mccullough testifying before the Senate of Texas, and he's testified before the United States Senate too. But here we go.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Peter Mccullough, and I'm an internist and cardiologist and professor of medicine at Texas A&M University School of Medicine. I'm on the Baylor Dallas campus, and I've been integrally involved in the response to COVID-19. The opinions I'll express are those of my own and not necessarily those of my institution. I can tell you that in my field, I'm an academic doctor. I see patients, but I'm very involved in research. I'm an editor of...
Let me stop there a moment. This is a doctor who actually sees patients. When was the last time the greatest scientific mind and master physician on the planet, Dr. Anthony Fauci, has seen patients? Just curious. Anyway, good morning to the gayest person on YouTube. Nice to see you. All right.
Of two major journals in my field. I'm the most published person in my field, which deals with the heart and the kidneys in the world in history. And when COVID-19 hit, I saw it as our medical Super Bowl. And there were going to be doctors like Dr. Urso
We have analogies.
coming out of wherever they worked to face the virus. And there were doctors in the hospital that just had to receive the virus. And then there were those who headed for the sidelines. And then there were those that were detractors against the pandemic. And so as I started to survey the literature, I had patients with heart and lung disease who needed urgent treatment. And I refused to let an illness, which lasted for 2 weeks at home, before they got sick enough to be hospitalized, I refused to let a patient languish at home with no treatment and then be hospitalized when it was too late. It was...
Now, think about what he just said there. Because when I was tested for the stupid 19, and because there was a day where I suddenly couldn't taste anything, I'm like, oh, I know that's one of the symptoms. I'm going to go get tested for stupid 19. We made the call. And when we made the call to go get tested, somebody from the state, they have people at the state that actually call you and they go, okay, here's what you're going to do. Here's what you need to do. Before, if you're going to get tested, you have to isolate until you get tested. And then you need, if you have to isolate for 3 days after you get tested, and then if you test positive, you have to extend that 3 days of isolation to a full 2 weeks. And that was it. That was. They didn't recommend a treatment. Because I wanted to ask him, well, is there something you're supposed to take? Is there something you're supposed to do? Are you supposed to go to your doctor? Nope. Their treatment for this, if you test positive, your treatment was to stay home. And then if it gets any worse after 2 weeks or during the 2 weeks, call your doctor. Don't even call your doctor. Now granted, I don't have a regular doctor. I go to a certain group. But how the hell? What you mean? There's no treatment? Now it's funny because when the president got it, which is, I'm not saying that I am the president or I'm as important as any president of any country, although I'm important to me and to my family and to people who love me. But they had him on some different prophylactic. They had him on a couple different drugs. They had him on some steroid and this and that, blah 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 blah. And he recovered in a couple of days, and boom, he was back out in the world. And the reason everyone was so skeptical of his health condition after he finished his whatever protocol they did is because everybody else, they just say, well, go stay home for 2 weeks. That's your treatment. And I'm thinking, so now you can listen to what he says about that. Hello, Chris Kroll. How you doing? Hindsight being 2020. Someone should have Gorilla Glue Dr. Gain of Function Fauci's mask on. At least we wouldn't be seeing that as a rat face. Goodness gracious. And good morning, Dradens. How you doing? All right. So think about that though, when, as you're listening to this.
Obvious. That was obvious in April that was the case. So I used the best tools or drugs available at the time, and these are appropriately prescribed off-label. Remember, a label is an advertising label. A label isn't a scientific document. Sure, it's an appropriately prescribed off-label use of conventional medicine to treat an illness. And in May, I put together a team of doctors because the group that was facing the pandemic to the greatest degree.
A team of practicing doctors, not people at the CDC, just, figuring out what's weird. Okay, so here's what's weird. And I don't know if this happened or not, but did the team there at the CDC talk to doctors in the field? I mean, most diseases there is a treatment or something that they try to figure out what's the treatment. And remember, I got COVID. When did I get this stupid 19? It was a couple weeks before, like 3 weeks before Christmas, like in the middle of my peak season at UPS, so I lost a lot of hours because I work a ton. I average 60, 65 hours a week during peak, and then the rest of the year I work maybe 20 hours a week there. And my treatment was to go home for 2 weeks. That was it. I'm just like, what? There's nothing you can... Anyway.
It was in Milan, Italy, so most of them were in the Corrico Italian Research Network. We summarized all we knew about the available drugs, and we published our findings in the August 8th issue of the American Journal of Medicine.
So they published their findings in the American Journal of Medicine, what they were using, what drugs they were using, what they were doing, and why. Peer-reviewed, American Journal of Medicine. Now, guess what happened? Guess what happened with that? Listen to this.
And the title of that paper was The Pathophysiologic Basis and Rationale for Early Ambulatory Treatment. And it had a premise. There's two bad outcomes to COVID-19, hospitalization and death. The second premise, if we don't do something before the hospitalization, we can never stop it. We can never stop it. And I have to tell you, and I was the lead author in that paper, but we had dozens of authors from Italy, India, UCLA, Emory. We had the best institutions in the United States. I can tell you the interesting thing was there was 50,000 papers in the peer-reviewed literature on COVID. Not a single one told a doctor how to treat it.
Did you hear that? Oh, whoops. I didn't mean to do that. Did you hear that? 50,000 papers on this, and not one talked about how to treat the disease? I'm thinking, I don't know where it was there.
India, UCLA, there was 50,000 papers in the peer-reviewed literature on COVID. Not a single one told a doctor how to treat it. Not a single one.
Don't you?
When does that happen? I was absolutely stunned. And when this paper was published in the American Journal of Medicine, it became a lightning rod. Oh my gosh, it became the most cited paper in basically all of medicine at that time.
So, now, guess what happened to this paper? Wait till you hear this.
The world started, and boy, the world started knocking on my door. And I said, oh my Lord, I just can't believe what became untapped. And I had never been on social media before, and my daughter, who was home from law school, was talking to her about it.
Wait
she said,
for
well,
it.
Why don't you make a YouTube video? So I made a YouTube video with 4 slides from the paper. This is a peer-reviewed paper published in one of the best medical journals in the world. 4 slides. I even wore a tie and a suit, and she showed me how to record it in PowerPoint, and I posted it on YouTube. It went absolutely viral. And within about a week, YouTube said, you violated the terms of the community.
They deleted it! Violated the terms of community. This is a doctor. One of the most published doctors on the planet. And a consortium of doctors from around the world. On a peer-reviewed paper. You know what YouTube called it? Medical disinformation. Why are we not listening to doctors? Hello, Chris Jones. And T-Ball. Did I say T-Ball already? I'm not sure.
And that's when Senator Johnson's office got involved in Washington and said, oh my gosh, this is important scientific information to help patients in the middle of this crisis, and social media is striking it down. Based on what authority? Well, one thing led to another, and I became the lead witness for the U.S. Senate testimony of November 19th, 2020. And the reason why there was Senate testimony
and by the way,
there was
his testimony to the U.S. Senate also got yeeted from YouTube. I'm surprised that this particular piece has not been removed from Twitter and from YouTube. I have a link to it, and if they take that link down on YouTube, I mirrored it on both Rumble and Odyssey. So I'll probably add those links manually to the in the description down below, just in case. But this testimony is still on YouTube, surprisingly.
Was a near total block on any information of treatment to patients. A near total block. And so what had happened over time is that we had gotten into a cycle in America of no information on treatment. Patients actually think that the virus is untreatable.
And that's the thing. So all we hear about, at least from this is CNN and MSNBC, whatever it is, and even Fox or any of these places, all you hear about is, okay, this many people died. And so everyone's and people are just, the girl who was in the elevator, that viral video of the girl in the elevator who's screaming at the lady, for not wearing your mask, man. I just want to leave the elevator. I want you to get out of the elevator so I can get out of the elevator, and blah, blah, blah. You're not wearing your mask. You're so close to me. Blah. We have so many of those people because they think it's a desert. They think what's that movie where Gwyneth Paltrow dies in the first 2 minutes of the movie from some crazy disease? They think Contagion, is that the one? I can't remember which one she was in. Okay. But everyone thinks it's that. They think it's like Contagion. You're going to get it. You're automatically going to die. You would look at all these cases. All those people are going to die. And I knew when I got it, I'm like, okay, pretty unlikely that I'm going to die. I'm a little overweight, but I don't have any respiratory conditions. I'm pretty in good shape and good health. And I'm under 50. I'm not old and yada, 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 right? I wasn't in the category that it was most dangerous for. So I'm look at the data. I'm like, okay, I should be all right. So when they said go home for 2 weeks, I'm like, well, if they don't have any kind of prophylactic or steroid or anything that I'm supposed to take, I should still be okay because 99% of the people in my category survive it. But they don't have a protocol to treat people. If your doctor says, well, you got this, we should probably do a couple things to make sure that you're okay, right? They haven't told doctors a treatment protocol for this. So that your state health department tells you to go home for 2 weeks, which is fine for most people, I guess. But those almost 600,000 people who have perished, could we have prevented that? Well, listen to this.
But I have to tell you, what has gone on has been beyond belief. How many of you have turned on a local news station or a national cable news station and ever gotten an update on treatment at home?
By the way, how about you answer that question in the chat? If you've seen something on TV about treatment for stupid 19, if you've heard anything on TV or anything about how it's treated on This Is CNN or ABC or NBC or CBS or any of the alphabet letter soup news outlets, if you have, put a 1. If you haven't, put a 2. I know my answer.
How many of you have ever gotten a single word about what to do when you get handed the diagnosis of COVID-19?
They sent me home. Stay at home for 2 weeks. Stay isolated. The fuck? Okay. Is that all I have to do?
No wonder. That is a complete and total failure at every level. Okay, let's take the White House. How come we didn't have a panel of doctors assigned to put all their efforts and stop these hospitalizations? Why don't we have doctors who actually treated patients get together in a group and every week give us an update? Why didn't we have that? Why didn't we have that at this?
Well, because the smartest doctor on the planet, who shall never be questioned and is smarter than anyone else on this planet and throughout the universe, didn't seem to make that a factor. 15 days to slow the spread. Just stay away from each other. That's what you were going to do. Now, granted, they were talking about different things that they were trying. They came up with different drugs. It's not like they didn't try to come up with these things, but boy, you sure didn't really hear about it that much. You've occasionally heard about a drug here a new drug, that you could watch, you try, or because they're coming up with new drugs rather than just, the off-label uses of other drugs. Interesting.
State level, 0. Why don't we have any reports about how many patients were treated and spared hospitalizations? I listened to 6 hours of testimony today. 0.
Thank you, Johnny Hellcat, the original viewer of the Morning Night Live, sponsoring the show with a deuce on YouTube Super Chat, who says, to quote Spaceballs, we ain't found shit. Isn't that true? Thank you, Johnny Hellcat, for sponsoring the show. I appreciate it. Okay, here we go.
We have a complete and total blank spot on treatment. It is a blanking phenomenon. At least in the United States, there's some heroes. Now, the American Society of Physicians and Surgeons took the lead. They're the group. They've identified 35 treatment centers in Texas. They know who they are. They have emergency hotlines. They helped Dr. Hall put together this very brief pamphlet, but there's more an extensive one. We can pass it around to everyone that at least gives people half a chance to find out about information.
Now, it's interesting. Texas, he said. Did he say Texas? I believe he said Texas, and he's talking to the Senate in Texas. Texas has treatment centers throughout the state. Where they were treating people, and maybe they were keeping people out of the hospital. Texas does pretty well with this, right? In fact, Texas is open right now, which is interesting, right? Right? Hello, Mike Savage, Blarg. So anyway, you get the picture. And this testimony in full, if you look over here, there is a link in. Oops, there's here. Let me show you here. We'll put the full YouTube right there. This full testimony, in fact, it happens to be the site, the YouTube channel of the Association of American Physicians and Surgeons site. Hopefully this will stay up here. It's been viewed 223,000 times. I think it should be viewed more, but this is his full testimony. You want to watch it instead of having to try to find it on Twitter. But has this guy gotten sad yet? No, he has not gotten sad yet. So anyway, and I'm going to also point you, there's two, one's a video and then one is from these guys, let's see, this is from April 8th. Doctors discuss what they think are the most significant pandemic public health errors. And this is one where I kind of got the idea that why are we talking about vaccinating children and healthy people? And even people who've gotten, people have been telling me, oh, well, just because you've already had it doesn't mean you're immune. I've had more doctors that I've heard say that you probably are immune than you aren't. And also the CDC is finding out that there is probably you have more of the more effective antibodies than some of these Fauci juice stabs. You know what I'm talking about? And probably longer lasting, they're finding out. But anyway, this is also some doctors on a panel that I suggest you listen to. I'm not going to play any of this one, but again, doctors discussing what they did, what things have they done wrong, and what could they have done better with this? Because some of the stuff that we've done is just, I would say the word asinine is appropriate. So anyway. Check your logic, you and your threes. I swear that you don't know how to count. At least not here. All right. So anyway, so here's the thing. So why are we not listening to doctors? Now here's another example of us not listening to doctors, and of course the YouTube overload. Some what do they call it? Gen Z? What are they? Zoomer? Some Zoomer at YouTube thinking that they're smarter than the experts and doctors and people who've had medical training, deleting a video. Here's another example. Scientists from Oxford, Harvard, and Princeton talked about the stupid 19 with DeSantis, and YouTube deletes it. This week, YouTube deleted footage of a stupid 19 roundtable discussion between Governor Ron DeSantis and medical experts from Oxford, Harvard, Stanford. The doctors and medical experts reportedly disputed the Center for Disease Control guidance that children wear masks in school and stop the spread of stupid 19. There's plenty of data and studies all over the world that also probably agree with these doctors. Let's see. Cody McCloud, DeSantis' press secretary, condemned the move as another blatant. Oh, hold up. Wait a minute. Thank you, John Arnott, with throwing a link in the soup. And thank you for sponsoring the show. You are sharing that distinction with Maddie.
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day.
I think Maddie's name's still going to stay up there, but thank you for the 5 spot. I appreciate sponsoring the show. Cody McCloud, DeSantis' press secretary, condemned the move as another blatant example of big tech attempting to silence those who disagree with their woke corporate agenda. NBC News reported. Oh, NBC News reported what DeSantis' spokesman said. Very good. Quote. Oh, thank you, Lunatic. How you doing? For the $4.99, who says fear salesman of the year award goes to. I don't know, who does it go to? I'm not sure who the fear salesman of the year is, but perhaps we should resist Faucism. Quote, YouTube claimed they removed the video because it contradicts the consensus of local and global health authorities. Does it now? Yet this roundtable was led by world-renowned doctors and epidemiologists from Oxford, Stanford, and Harvard, all of whom are eminently qualified to speak on the global health crisis. Mccullough argued good public health policy should include a variety of scientific and technical expertise, and YouTube's decision to remove this video suppresses the productive dialogue of these complex issues. Now, have you ever heard the term getting a second opinion? Science is not static. And if you censor the questions and or other opinions that could produce fruit of lessening the severity of the impact of our certain stupid 19 pandemic, then you are doing a disservice to all of us, even those who may want to argue with those people. Because guess what? You learn more the more you talk it out. But they don't want you to talk it out, and they don't want anyone else to know that some other people might have some different opinions. Indeed, the panel included Jay Bhattacharya, a professor of medicine at Stanford University, Dr. Martin Kulldorff, a biostatistician, data, epidemiologist, and professor of medicine at Harvard Medical School, Sunetra Gupta, an infectious disease epidemiologist and epidemiology professor at Oxford University. Oh my. Well, that's just white supremacy though. What's her name? Gupta? Maybe it's not white. Well, she's internalized white supremacist. And former Trump White House stupid 19 advisor, Dr. Scott Atlas. Now I know why now I know. See, they don't like Dr. Atlas because, he's a little too Trumpy for them. The roundtable had been embedded in a WTSB TV's news story. This was in a news story, not even the whole thing. Editorial director of the American Institute for Economic Research first reported the fact that YouTube had removed it. Oh, see, here's the problem. Tucker praised DeSantis for taking the lead and rejecting lockdowns. He argued that the governor became a master of knowledge. Wait, did they accidentally threw a whole different? Okay. So anyway, why are they all of a sudden talking about Tucker here? They need editors. My God. Praised DeSantis for taking the lead and rejecting lockdowns. He argued that the governor became a master of knowledge and erudition on matters of public health and the cell biological issues concerning immunity, end quote. He praised DeSantis for following the Great Barrington Declaration, which AIER sponsored. He faulted YouTube for its policy on removing misinformation that contradicts the CDC and World Health Organization guidelines. YouTube has, quote, did I have a Susan voice? I don't know. YouTube has clear policies around stupid 19 medical information and to support the health and safety of our users. YouTube spokesman Elena Hernandez said in a statement, "We removed the IER video because it included content that contradicts the consensus of local and global health authorities regarding the efficacy of masks and to prevent the spread of COVID-19, except the CDC doesn't think kids should be wearing masks." Dumbasses. While YouTube allows videos that otherwise, while YouTube, God, While YouTube allows videos that, quote, otherwise violate our policies to remain on the platform if they contain sufficient educational, documentary, scientific, or artistic content, end quote, the platform apparently decided that the roundtable ends with scientific experts from major universities and practicing physicians whose advice helped DeSantis make policy decisions on stupid 19 pandemic did not fall under the educational umbrella. No, they didn't fall under the we're woke and we only do what Dr. Fauci says. Our policies apply to everyone and focus on content regardless of the speaker or channel, Hernandez insisted. Well, these are scientists. You praise and love science, but you remove this stuff from YouTube, you morons. NBC News, which put, quote, free market in air quotes while describing AIER as a free market think tank, suggested that the video violated YouTube's rules. What? When the medical experts questioned the wisdom of requiring children wear face masks in school. Oh, where are we at on that now, YouTube? Hello, hypnagogic monk. How you doing? Children should not wear face masks. No, they don't need it for their own protection, and they don't need it for protecting other people, Koldorf argued. You know what? That's kind of the consensus now, even from the CDC. Wow, they were way ahead of their time. Anyway, so YouTube's censoring on this. Let's keep talking more. Now, here's another stupid thing where we're not listening to the doctors or the scientists or even the CDC. Yosemite National Park cites stupid 19 to limit the number of summer visitors. Really? Now, when we went to, we went to Breckenridge. Holy shit, was that resort packed? But anyway, Yosemite National Park will require visitors to obtain day use reservations to enter this summer, citing the stupid 19 pandemic. The reservation system will go into effect May 21st and will last through the peak summer season until September 30th. Quote, the health and safety of park visitors, employees, and partners continues to be our number one priority, the Park Service said in a press release Thursday announcing the decision despite the lack of any data that shows widespread danger of outdoor viral transmissions. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. In fact, highly ventilated indoor spaces with fresh air and ultraviolet light make for the safest circumstances to deter the spread of the novel Wuhan coronavirus. Oops, I didn't mean to be racist by quote reading this. Yosemite, however, is among the nation's most prominent parks, Yosemite, however, among the nation's most prominent parks, will again remain closed and off limits to those with temporary day use permits required for all pass holders, just as it was last year. Colorado's Rocky Mountain National Park and Montana's Glacier National Park each also announced the implementation of reservation systems this summer. The new restrictions come as domestic travel expected to spike as the nation's economy recovers and yada, yada, yada. So some unscientific use there. How about you? And finally, mask mandates. Here's one. How much data do we need to understand that these mask mandates are counterproductive? On March 17th, American Thinker posted an article, quote, mask mandates do not save lives, end quote. By comparing stupid 19 death rates in states with no mask mandate to states in which masking was mandatory, the article was able to show that, on average, states in which masking, or the face diapers, I'm going to call them face diapers, in which face diapers was voluntary, had lower death rates than states requiring it. Ha! Again, data versus science. The difference was marginal, so the conservative conclusion was that requiring face diapers had not saved lives, since that study did nothing to control for the potentially confounding considerations like population density or age structure. More sophisticated studies of the question are in order. What it highlighted, however, is that the ongoing failure of our government to provide measurable evidence that face diapers saves lives. At the time that article was written, there were only 10 states that had no face diaper mandates. But since then, 7 additional states have lifted them. Those states have been heavily criticized for having done so. President Biden, I don't know why I laugh when I say President Biden. He is the president. He's my president. And so anyway, President Biden has referred to their decision as Neanderthal thinking. And a great many high-profile people of a progressive bent have expressed dismay at such irresponsible behavior. Oh, my God! However, no evidence... However, no evidence has been brought forward to document the measured effectiveness of obligatory masking. Face diapers might logically be expected to influence the death rate only indirectly if face diapers diminish the appearance of new cases. Then, other things being equal, fewer cases means fewer deaths. On March 31st, NPR posted an article entitled, "How Severe is Your State's Coronavirus?" Or excuse me, I keep saying it. How severe is your state's stupid 19 outbreak? It contains an interactive map that for each state allows the viewer to see the rate at which new stupid 19 cases have appeared in the preceding week. The rate is expressed as an average daily number of new cases per 100,000 population. How effectively are face diaper mandate states containing the spread of the disease relative to the states that do not require face diapers? We can look at the performance of face diaper mandate states relative to those states not requiring face diapers to get at preliminary data. There are 17 states that did not require face diapers during the March 24th to 31st week, 33 states that did. The following map shows which category each state falls in. The number, usually the upper right corner of the state, is the average daily new case rate per population. Since this is all about state policy regarding face diapers, the states are equal in weight regardless of population size. Here are the average daily new cases per 100,000 for population for each of the two groups. 33 mask mandate states, 21.0 new cases per 100,000 people. The 17 mask voluntary states, 14.2 daily new cases per 100,000 people. 21.1 is more than 14.2. I think, at least in new math, I'm not sure. Thank you, Johnny Hellcat, for again sponsoring the show, saying, reopen our parks. My live streams need more stupid people being mauled by bison. That should have been... And thank you, tall person. Welcome to the show with the Deuce saying, Happy National Grilled Cheese Sandwich Day. Is it really? I might have to make a grilled cheese sandwich day. I have. We just bought some nicely sliced cheddar cheese, and although American cheese is great for grilled cheese, but you know what? I'll use a couple different kinds and maybe throw a tomato and some bacon on that bad boy. Thank you for letting me know about National Grilled Cheese Sandwich Day. Right on. Anyway, if you want to read the rest of this article, it breaks it down a lot more close, but the states where they don't require face diapers, seem to be doing just fine. In fact, most cases, better than the states that require face diapers. All right, enough about that. Again, I will have the testimony by Dr. Peter Mccullough. Also, there's it's about a 51-minute, it's just a recording called Connections. Doctors discuss what they think are the most significant pandemic public health errors. And these doctors, the doctors in the second recording, they're not anywhere near Trumpy-ish. I mean, they seem to be just, if you listen to some of the terminologies and things they use, they're liberals, they're leftists, they're Democrats, I'm guessing, but they still, they say some significant things, particularly about what we're doing with children and how bad it is for children, the way that we've treated this, particularly since we've been fortunate that this is not a disease that is as dangerous to children as most of the other diseases that they deal with. Kids need to be around dirt and shit and stuff. Maybe not shit, but you know what I mean. That their immune systems are designed for learning and learning to what to be immune to, and they're not getting that. So you're probably going to see after this, the kids have been isolated. You're going to probably see a lot of kids get ill because their immune system, which is developing right now, isn't being exposed to all this other crap that they're normally exposed to. And you're going to see a lot of sick kids. You're going to, oh my God, it's just terrible. It's awful. Listen to that recording. It's great. Thank you, Gamer Verlaine, who says, Havarti makes a nice grilled cheese. Yes, it does. It absolutely does. I love like the good cream Havarti cheese, nice, soft and melty, and that you put the little fresh basil and tomato. Oh, my mouth's watering. Here, let me fix it with a little caffeine juice. Thank you again, Gamer Verlaine. Appreciate you sponsoring the show. All right, let's move on. I have one more Fauci. You know what? Oh, this is just Fauci. It's still not okay to eat or drink indoors, even if you're vaccinated. I was at a restaurant yesterday. They allow us to go to restaurants, and I still laugh at that policy. Okay. So to go into the restaurants in my great state of Minnesota, which is probably going to be, have large portions of its burned to the ground for the next couple of months. You have to wear a mask to walk into the restaurant, but when you sit down, as soon as you get a glass of water to drink, you take your mask off, and then you can leave your mask off unless you have to go to the bathroom. And if you have to go to the bathroom, you got to put your mask on to walk from wherever you're sitting to walk to the bathroom. And then when you walk back from the bathroom, you can take your mask off as you sit back down again. But then when you get up, when you're done eating, you have to put your mask on so that you can walk out the door. I'm not sure what that does. And even if you're healthy, even if you know what? Anyway, there is one more related story, and since we're on this, I got a whole bunch of tabs open, but we may not get to them because this one is gonna just thrill you. This is from Business Insider. Vaccine passports are spreading across the world. Yay! Whoops! Hey! Here's how they could work in the United States of America. Now, right now, there is no plan for national vaccine passports in the United States of America, but a lot of companies are asking the United States government to come up with stuff, and a couple of states are trying to push this bullshit. Anyway, here's the highlights. Vaccine passports are set to become a part of daily life across much of the world. Stupid. Restaurants, gyms, sports stadiums, and other venues could require digital documents as proof of a person having vaccine. Now, here's the problem I have with this. Again, and I'm not against vaccines. Oh, at least there's an example because they're doing it in Israel. But in Israel, if you've had the disease, that qualifies as your vaccine passport because you have antibodies. I don't know if that's going to be that way in the U.S. But they're requiring you in the United States to take a vaccine that is not fully FDA approved. Do you understand what they're asking? Now, again, yes, it is approved for emergency use. It has emergency use authorization. It is not fully proven tested by the FDA. Now, obviously the Fauci juice companies have done a lot of testing and they say it's safe. Now, there's certainly had a big issue with the Johnson & Johnson Fauci juice and had some problems in one place where they had to stop giving it. And they're also having trouble with even the other two. And I'm not, and there's people's side effects. Now, and granted, side effects happen, but they haven't figured out, have they figured out what those side effects had, the other conditions they had for those side effects? Don't know. We'll find out. Israel has already rolled out a vaccine passport scheme, and other countries are close behind. Here's how the scheme works. Vaccine passports are set to become a part of everyday life right across the world as governments race to Fauci juice, COVID stab, stupid 19 stab their populations against the stupid 19. Countries including Israel, the United Kingdom, and much of Europe have either already rolled out a vaccine stupid Fauci juice passport scheme, or are actively working on one, while the U.S. government says it won't introduce federally mandate stupid juice passports. Thank goodness. It does look increasingly likely that many restaurants, gyms, sports stadiums, and other venues will require such a document to prove they have been stabbed against stupid-19, and they may be required for international travel. Holy smokes! Lunatic. How are you? Thank you so much. That's a very, very generous of you. Who says, my wife has officially authorized me to spread some love across the internet. Love your show, P-Dog. Holy smokes. Thank you so much. Holy smokes. With the, it's not quite the, it's kind of the extended Herman Cain donation of $9,999. Thank you very much. That's very, very generous. I'm ecstatic. Holy smokes. Oh, you know what's weird? I just realized the other day, I haven't gotten paid by YouTube for a while, and I haven't figured out why. So I got to make sure that happens. Anyway, there's certainly something that I have to go back and do that they're not telling me yet to release all my funds. So it's weird. Anyway, thank you so much, Lunatic. I appreciate that. So here's what the stupid juice passport system might look like in the United States. One model the U.S. government and businesses could look to is Israel, which has led the world in both terms of stupid juicing, stabbing its population, and introducing the stupid juice passport scheme. So anyway, Israel started issuing so-called green passes February 21st to people who have received the second dose of stupid juice vaccine or stupid juice. And under the scheme, designed to ease the country out of lockdown, Israel issued their ID or passport number, date of birth, and approved for their healthcare provider to verify that the person had received the stupid juice. In return, they were issued a green pass. The pass can be displayed on a mobile phone or as a QR code or as a printed physical document. Who's eligible for the passport? Every adult who's received 2 doses of stupid juice, or who has recovered from the stupid 19. Children younger than 16 years old who have recovered from the stupid 19 can be added to their parents' passport. Well, that's special. Where does the pass allow you to enter? Okay, all these places, who cares? And what does stupid juice passport mean for travel? The Israeli government has been tight-lipped about when it will start to significantly to ease current travel restrictions, which prevent citizens from traveling abroad on holiday. However, it has signed an agreement with Cyprus and Greece, 2 EU members, to pilot a scheme that allows stabbed people to travel freely between the 3 countries, Arab News reported. It will be piloted this summer. And they say their rollout hasn't gone well. In the shopping mall, no one is really checking on stupid juice passports, but in restaurants and bars, it's working. Are they really checking them, though? Are they checking them carefully? Can they be forged? Can they be bought for a special price from a doctor who just says, hey, let me get this for you? I'm just saying. I know. And here we go. Counterfeit stupid juice passports could be a problem. There are major privacy issues with the passport program. QR codes, which the Green Pass scheme relies, are easily counterfeited, and a black market for forged passports has reportedly emerged already on Telegram. Of course. Oops, wrong one. Yeah, of course it has. Here's the other problem, too, and this is the one that bothers me the most. Hello, Katie the Skate. How you doing? Another issue is that the scheme relies on a centralized database, the Telegraph reported. That means everyone's personal information is kept in one place, creating a potential gold mine for hackers. Well, fan-freaking-tastic. I'm sorry. I'm not excited about the... There are certain problems constitutionally with stupid juice passports, I would think, but maybe not, because everyone tells you there's so many people so excited about stupid juice passports because they just think that people who don't want to get vaccinated are just hell spawn. But FTG to them too. Oh my God, I'm out of time here. Well, and apparently New York has a pilot program. I'm just going to show you this headline because I like to laugh at things. Here it is. Report. New York's pilot program vaccine passports, stupid juice passports are easy to fake. Well, great. Maybe I should see if I can get a New York pilot program stupid juice passport. I wonder if I can get one. I bet I can get one by mail. I'm going to test that. I'm going to see if I can find somebody. They call it the Excelsior Pass. Ooh, what a fancy name. Anyway, all right, let's see. I do want to tell you what other articles are in the tabs today, because there's a bunch. And let me get rid of some things that you don't need. Let's see. You don't need when big cats face a crocodile. You don't need that. And you don't need my personal Twitter feed here. Okay. By the way, did you know that sweet potatoes are racist now? There's a Reddit. What is it on Reddit? Someone put Reddit. Here's a Reddit title. The difference between yams and sweet potatoes is structural racism. That sounds like something your college student daughter who's majoring in women's studies comes home and talks about at Thanksgiving. And my well, not my daughter, because my daughter's not not unwoke. She's just not that type of woke. Okay. But my first line out of my mouth, if I had someone at my table ask me that at Thanksgiving, I'd be saying, hey, can we just eat and you shut the fuck up? Because that's about where it would be. In fact, that's what I wrote on Twitter. Okay. All right. So in the other headlines, by the way, all of these things I've read and all the videos and recordings and stuff will be in a single link down there in the comment section, probably by the time that the outro gets finished, as it is I do every day. So all the articles I touch on will be there. You can go to one link if you want to see these videos or read these articles on your own. Here's some of the other things that I wanted to feature. Oh God, I have to do this. This is funny. So you know how Brian Stelter is obsessed with Fox News, and this might be, I'm just going to play it because this is more, since it's COVID themed today, stupid 19 themed today, we have to listen to Brian Stelter. Listen to this. This is 1 minute long, so it's going to take time, but you're not, just listen.
It's really important to see all these TV anchors, personalities showing themselves getting the shot. We've seen a lot of vaccine selfies. It is
so. Hold it. Do you hear what these moron is saying?
Inspiring to see.
I want you. What the hell happened there? Full screen. Oh, I'm the wrong screen. Let me try this here. I'm gonna start over. Listen carefully to what he says, and this. Just listen again.
It's really important to see all these TV anchors, personalities showing themselves getting the shot. We've seen.
Is it no? Is it important that these retards show them getting the stupid Jew stab? Is it important that we see that? Why? Just because you assholes think it's important? Is it important? Good.
In a lot of vaccine selfies from lots
vaccine
of
selfies.
Oh
my gosh! Congratulations on your. It's inspiring. Your vaccine selfie. Your stupid Jew selfie. You know, it's funny because I go on my Instagram, and I have several family members who are super woke of the other style too, and I love my family even though we don't agree politically. I love them to death. And there's a few of them that have been showing their little. They have their picture with their little Band-Aid, and I'm like, get the who cares? I got the antibodies the old-fashioned way. Anyway.
Even brought the co-host outside.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Group vaccination.
Oh, a live
and
group vaccination. Oh, Hercules. You're so special.
On Friday on MSNBC talked about how she was really fearful of the needle, really worried about it. And yet it was important to get the shot, and she did, and there she is talking about it.
So brave and bold, Rachel Maddow. You're scared of the needle, but for for your audience, you sacrificed and got the stupid Jew stab right on the show. So brave. So brave.
About it on air. So, I say all of that to make the following point.
What?
Where are Tucker and Sean Hannity and Laura Ingraham? Where is Ainsley Earhart and Steve Doocy? And
What? The Fox News host dare not to do a stupid juice selfie? What the hell is wrong with them?
Kilmeade, where are the biggest stars on Fox
where are they?
getting vaccinated? I get it's a personal choice.
Yeah.
I get that's between the hosts.
I
and their
can't
healthcare providers.
believe it.
But everybody else is doing it.
Everybody's doing it. Why aren't you? Why aren't you Fox News
And all
hosts?
across television, all these anchors are rolling up their sleeves. Why do you think we haven't seen the biggest stars on Fox News get vaccinated or show us their vaccine?
Oh my.
status?
Bitch, show me your stab. Oh, I want to see your stab, baby. What the fuck? You know what? Does Brian Stelter and Oliver Darcy, do they watch anything else but Fox News? I bet you have plush doll, like, collector toys of every Fox News anchor in your bedroom, Brian. I bet you just... Okay, I'm not going to say that. That's not kid friendly, and I'm not going to say what Brian does with his Fox News plush toy Fox News anchor action figures, because it's probably kind of gross. But anyway, he spends, holy shit. And who's this? Oh, okay, good. I didn't want to hear that asshole anyway. Brian Stelter. Are you fucking kidding me? Okay, so anyway, other articles. That is a couple of articles about that particular thingy there. Also, I didn't get to the event happening in the north of the Twin Cities here, where a unarmed black man was shot and killed by police. There's now again, I have and as I watch Twitter, it was the biggest game of telephone I have ever seen regarding this particular incident. And I mean, literally, I watched, like, for example, someone was talking about he was stopped because he told his mother he was stopped for having air freshener hanging off his mirror or whatever, which you're not allowed to do in Minnesota. I guess you're not supposed to be able to hang shit off your mirror. I don't know. I've never been stopped for that. I got stopped for tinted windows. No, officer's like, okay, I live right over there. They weren't too tinted, and my light was supposedly out. And then he figured out my light wasn't out. So he's like, okay, cool, see ya. And they make it sound like though that nobody ever gets stopped for those kinds of things except black people, which I know for a fact that my wife's been stopped for that kind of thing. And then she just took it off the mirror. And so anyway, and my wife is not a melanated American. Thank you, Gamer Valine, real quick. I guess he never heard the bridge analogy. I'm not sure. Was that for Brian? I'm sure he hasn't. Thank you so much for sponsoring the show. Also, Johnny Hellcat said you should have asked for a pic of the virus from a blood droplet under the microscope and taken a selfie with that. Yeah, no. Okay. Anyway, so there's the Star Tribune article on that, the archive version. There is also a thread by Chris Harapsky, who is from KARE 11, which is the Minneapolis-based news station. Also, there's someone named Kim Hyatt has the Brooklyn Police Department press release. And this is another one of those where we just got to kind of see. It's already caused some rioting in Brooklyn Center, some looting and whatnot. Not good timing in the middle of the Chauvin trial, but you know what? Until they release body footage and explain it, one thing that did come up is whatever they stopped him for, when they ran his name, he was he had warrants for his arrest, so they attempted to arrest him. and he ran, jumped in the car, he ran and opened the door of his car, which for police officers is a very dangerous thing. I'm not saying that it was justified in shooting him, but what I am saying, that is dangerous. In a split second, someone could reach in the car and grab a gun and shoot back at you. I've seen several examples of it. Not that that's what happened in this case. He jumped in the car, they shot, he got pew-pewed, and then he drove off in the car and crashed, and he died at the scene of the crash. His passenger. So maybe it's a stupid reason to stop him. We don't know why they stopped him. We know what he told his mother. We don't know why they stopped him. He was driving a car that had belonged to her. So he'd called her while he was being stopped about the insurance because he didn't know where it was, and said he thought he was being stopped for the thing in the mirror. This is another 3 to 5 day rule one. If you go by what the chatter on Twitter is, there's no way this is justified. And I don't know why. If they stop you for shit hanging off your mirror, I think that's bullshit. Now, after they found out that he was had a warrant for his arrest and attempts to arrest him, and then he flees, that makes it a tougher situation every time. Anyway, also, let's see. Oh, Twitch live stream platform has created a snitch service to police off-platform thought and conduct. Oh my gosh, Twitch seems to be working into a kind of a social credit score, having their terms of service mandate what you do outside of their platform. We've created a dedicated email address where anyone can report egregious off-service misconduct in the categories above committed by a member of the Twitch community, the company noted in an April 7th blog post. And seems like some of these other platforms have been doing that too. Obviously, they did it to Lauren Southern because Lauren Southern did not violate the rule of Patreon or a couple of other platforms she was on when they took her off of one. Or not her. I'm sorry, not Lauren Southern. What's the other weirdo chick that's ran for Congress in Florida? Laura Loomer, is that her name? But she didn't violate the policies of other platforms, but they kicked her off multiple platforms. Okay, same with Alex Jones. Did he violate the policies of every single platform available that they all took him off at the same time? I don't know. Did they? Anyway, so while these places have teams of employees that police their various online communities, they heavily rely on random users to report other users, a snitch service, who may be violating their terms of service and their harassment policies. The combination of those teams of employees and enforcers and the reliance on individuals, often anonymous users, has led to a lot of inconsistencies on who gets suspended or banned for these platforms. Oh, you think? But now they're asking you to talk about users' offline behavior. So, yeah, here it is. In January, we began enforcing our updated hateful conduct and harassment policy so we could better keep them from harm, protect every person on Twitch. Really? How about the people people are being snitched on? Are you protecting them at all? I don't think so. Anyway, that article's in here. Also on here, if you want to read this one, it is major corporations plan to oppose election integrity measures. So apparently about 100 CEOs of major corporations spoke via Zoom on Saturday about how they could combat election integrity laws similar to the one passed in Georgia. So the corporations are going to try to see if they can gang up and fight all 47 states that have these kind of laws coming up on the books. Or how about states like Colorado, where they moved the Major League Baseball All-Star Game to, where some of their laws are more restrictive than the ones that they're protesting in Georgia. Good job, Major League Baseball. All right, and then finally, let's see. There's 2 articles on that, and then also, let's see. Here's a good editorial. It's called Can the Great Awakening Succeed? It's kind of talking about how maybe, just maybe, we can find a way to fight some of the wokeness that's happening. It's an interesting article, so I encourage you to read it. And finally, I don't know why I have this chart here, but the mortality risk, our world in data, statistics and research, mortality risk of COVID-19. Just interesting data charts that you can look through. This one in particular caught my interest because the other day someone from the UK was talking about how terrible America is as far as COVID-19. And I'm like, wait a minute, where are you from? You're from the UK? And then I went and looked, and the UK is actually worse per capita than us. And then also what was interesting is because the United States, even though we have the most cases and the most fatalities, we're below the world average for case mortality rate. We're below the world in general. We're below Spain, Brazil, Germany, Italy, Iran, several other countries. So it's pretty fascinating. Anyway, all right, so I'm going to get I got to get the hell out of Dodge. Oh, Resolute Germ, thank you. Saying right now Odyssey is running a trial for live streaming system. Contact them and try to get in on it. Hey, thank you. That's a good idea. I had been streaming on Trovo and D Live, but I was having some glitches in my own system here, so eventually I will just figure that out. So anyway, all right, gang, that must be the end of my show because I'm running quite a bit late today. But before you do anything, before you go anywhere, before you touch a single button, please, 44 people still here, 22 likes. Can we get that up to 44 somehow? If you have not hit the like button yet, at the count of 3, I want you to hit it. 1, 2, 3. Click it. And if you like what we do, please share the stream out. That really helps. 10 new subscribers in the last 2 weeks. That's great. But I'm going to step it up. I'm going to start, again, the clips are going to start coming out now that I've started those. And I'm going to start making some more standalone videos that are shorter and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, if you would share the stream out, that helps greatly. And if you want to sponsor the show like many of you did today, you can do that through SuperChats during the show. You can do that through Streamlabs 24 hours a day. I will read the message the first opportunity I can. Also, Venmo, Cash App are available. Those are in the description down below if you want to do it that way. Thanks to the people who are able, but don't feel bad if you don't. It's just some people are able to. Some people like to do that, and I appreciate that greatly. But I just appreciate you being here on the regular, participating in the chat, doing just if you're watching by replay, put a comment in the comment section, or even if you're watching now, throw a comment in the comment section later. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you to our sponsors today. Where are we at? Maddie, Johnny Hellcat, John Arnart, Lunatic, Tall Person, Gamer Valine. And that's everybody. Thank you so much for your generous support of the Dawg Knight channel and the show. I gotta go. My name is Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.